Of you. Today we will discuss the second design method of IIR filters, that is impulse invariance method. Okay, in the last class we discussed about derivatives, approximation of derivatives method, and second method of designing an IIR filter, digital IIR filter from analog IIR filter, that is impulse invariance method. Okay, so in this the idea is you will have an analog filter transfer function. That analog filter transfer function is converted to digital filter transfer function. So first we will see, so what is the Z transform of a transfer function of a digital filter. The transfer function is represented as h of z sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity hn z power minus n. So here this is the, see, this hn is the impulse response and hz is the transfer function, and we represent any given transfer function h of z as sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity h of n z power minus n. Okay, now what we do is we substitute z is equal to e power minus st. Okay, so therefore h of z at z is equal to e power st. So this equation becomes sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity h of n. So z means e power st, e power st into n. Okay, now what we are doing is we are having a relation, means whenever z is equal to e power st, so we will get the transfer function that h of z is sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity h of n e power minus st n. Okay, now the relation is if you have, so we need to map the from S domain to Z domain. So to map the variable from S domain to Z domain, the relation is Z is equal to e power st. Z is equal to e power st. Okay, this is the mapping relation from S plane to Z plane, S plane to Z plane. Now, so we know that S is a complex operator, so therefore Z is equal to e power sigma plus j omega into t. Since S is equal to sigma plus j omega, now if you expand this, e power sigma t into e power j omega t, like this, we can expand this. Now z, we can write in polar form, that is r into e power j omega, r into e power j omega. Okay, now this is the relation. Now if you find out the magnitude of this, that is r, so that r is equal to e power sigma t, and now e power j omega t is there, and if you calculate the magnitude of this, see, magnitude of this one. So magnitude is, and the magnitude of this e power sigma t, e power sigma t, and however the magnitude of e power j omega t is, how we can write it is under root. So e power j theta can be written as cos theta plus j sin theta. So therefore cos square omega t plus sin square omega t. So it becomes e power sigma t. E power, so this is 1. So we know that this is 1 under root cos square omega cos square theta plus sin square theta. This entire term becomes 1. So therefore, so magnitude of this function, see, actually mod z, magnitude of the function is e power sigma t. Now, so this is the very important relation, because r is equal to e power j omega, the magnitude of that is e power sigma t. Then whatever the about based on the sigma value, actually the mapping will change. Okay, mapping will change. That mapping we have to look like this. Now see what happens is, when sigma is 0, okay, I'll write here, for sigma is equal to 0, what happens for sigma is equal to 0, r into e power j omega, that is equal to e power sigma t. E power sigma t means when sigma is 0, this is e power 0, which is equal to 1. Okay, the meaning of this is very important to understand. See, now whenever you have a pole, sigma 0 means what? I will erase and write here. Sigma is equal to 0 means it is on the S plane. This is a sigma axis, this is j omega axis, real and imaginary. Now see, whenever sigma 0 means sigma is 0 here. Okay, if we have a pole on the sigma 0, j omega can be anything. Suppose if we have a pole here, if we have a pole here, if we have a pole, now what happens is, in the z domain we will have a circle. See, r into e power j omega, however you see r into e power j omega means you will have a magnitude of this is equal to 1. So magnitude 1, what it indicates is, see, real part of z and this is imaginary part of z, and this is z plane. This is z plane and this is s plane. This is s plane. Now what happens is, if you have a unit circle, a circle of radius r is equal to 1, then it is, you have a unit circle of radius 1. Now what happens is, what we got for the condition for sigma is equal to 0, r into e power j omega, that is e power sigma t, e power 0 is equal to 1. Now the poles which present on the j omega axis in the s plane, they are mapped onto a circle of radius 1. So therefore this pole is mapped here. Okay, the mapping takes place like this. See, this pole is mapped to here, and another next, this pole is mapped somewhere here. This pole is mapped here, and another pole like this. Mapping takes place. You can have more number of poles. If any pole is located on the j omega axis, now all the poles are mapped onto the circle. That is the important point. So when sigma is 0, what happens? We get a magnitude 1. When magnitude is 1, it represents in the S domain, because r into e power j omega is a z variable. So that is why when sigma is 0, you get a unit circle, and that unit circle means all j omega axis poles. The poles which lies on the j omega axis, they are mapped onto a unit circle. Okay, this is the first case 1 in the mapping of analog domain to digital domain. Okay, now second one for sigma less than 0. When sigma less than 0, because we are having the condition that is r into e power j omega is equal to, so e power sigma t, because e power j omega t magnitude is 1. Okay, so that in that sense we are saying this is the first case 1. Okay, like case 1, and this is a case 2. The case 1 corresponding diagram is this one. Now for case 2, this is case 2, second case. In the second case, what we take is sigma less than 0. Sigma less than 0 means what? Negative values of sigma. Where negative values of sigma comes left hand side of the j omega axis. Okay. Now first of all we will see that. So r into e power j omega, and it is equal to e power. So less than 0 means you will get a negative values. So you can suppose if you take sigma is minus 1 into t, e power minus t, it is always less than 1. Okay, always less than 1. E power minus t, you will get, suppose e power minus 1 is 0.636, like that, you will get for all the values. So when r into e power j omega is equal to e power minus t, when sigma is equal to 0, and e power minus value is always less than 1. So therefore, in that case, what happens is, understand, so this implies values less than 1. Values e power minus t. For any value of t, you will get less than 1. Suppose what we have assumed here is sigma is minus 1. Less than 0 means it can be minus 1 or minus 0.5 or minus 10. It can be any number. So therefore, r into e power j omega is equal to e power minus t, and that value is always less than 1. So therefore, if you have a poles, second case, if this is the S plane, sigma j omega, and this is the S plane. Suppose if you have any pole on the left hand side means sigma less than 0. You can have multiple number of poles, minus 1, suppose you assume that this is located at minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and so on. You can have any number of poles. Now, so here if you come to the Z domain, that is Z plane, that is real part of Z, imaginary part of Z. Okay. Now in this case, if any pole lies in the left hand side, that pole mapped into the unit circle. Okay, this is a unit circle. Why? Okay, now this is a unit circle, and this unit circle, so imagine that this is 1 plus 1. Now what happens is, see, for sigma less than 0, we are getting the values of r into e power j omega less than 1. Less than 1, what it indicates? So less than 1, if this is 1, all the inside exactly on the circle it is plus 1. It is 1. So therefore, whenever any pole which lies on the left hand side of the S plane, it is mapped into the, so inside of the unit circle. That is the point to understand, right? So therefore, in the second case, when sigma is less than 0, the left hand side poles, all these poles are mapped into the, so inside the unit circle, not on the, so inside the unit circle, like this. So this left hand side pole is mapped inside the circle of radius 1. Okay, this is the second case. And if we see the third case, case 3, in case 3 what happens is, so for sigma greater than 0, for sigma greater than 0, then what happens is, you can understand this r into e power j omega is equal to e power. So here actually what is this? So e power sigma t. Sigma is greater than 0. Greater than 0 means a positive values. So therefore e power sigma t becomes, e power sigma t is so greater than 1. Greater than, if suppose you see greater than 0 means you can take sigma is 1, sigma is 2, like that. When sigma is 2, e power 2 is greater than 1 only. So therefore all these values greater than 1. Okay, values are greater than 1. Okay, it implies r into e power j omega t is equal to e power sigma t. When sigma is greater than 0, then you get the values of this r into e power j omega as greater than 1. Now this is the relation. So in this case, sigma greater than 0 means what? Right hand side of the S plane. Okay, this is the S plane. So sigma greater than 0. Sigma greater, so this is a real part and this is the imaginary part. So now assume that sigma greater than 0 means, suppose sigma is 1, you have a pole at plus 1. You have a pole at plus 1. Suppose if you have a pole at, this is the S plane, again S plane. So in the S plane, so one pole is, we can have more than one also, one pole is located at the right hand side. Now what happens in the Z domain is, or Z plane is like this. So this is a real part of Z. This is the imaginary part of Z. Imaginary part of Z. Now, so you have a circle, as usual you have a unit circle, circle of radius 1, unit circle, because we got the relation. So when magnitude of the r into e power j omega is 1, we have seen it. Now from that, what happens is, so this is the unit circle of radius 1. Now whenever if you map that pole from the analog filter transfer function to digital filter transfer function, the pole which is present on the left hand side or right hand side of the S plane, see this is the right hand side of the pole, right hand side of the S plane. So this is the S plane. So this is the origin. So right, this is the right hand side and left hand side. When a pole is located on the right hand side of the S plane, if we convert that into the digital filter transfer function, that pole is mapped to the outside the unit circle. Okay, this is the point. Okay, so you may be, means that pole may be located somewhere here. So therefore, the point is, we have seen three different cases. These three cases only generally occur in the designing of digital filter. So what is the first case? First case is, if all the poles are located on the j omega axis, then in the analog filter transfer function, if all the poles are located on the j omega axis, now the poles are mapped onto the unit circle, because we have a r into e power j omega value, that is e power sigma t, e power 0 is 1. So that is why these j omega axis poles are mapped onto the unit circle. And for case 2, whenever case 2, if you have any left hand side pole, that pole is mapped onto the inside, that pole is mapped inside the unit circle. And if you have any right hand side pole, right hand side of the S plane, that is mapped to the outside of the unit circle. Okay, so like this, what we do is, we have a different cases, right? Converting analog filter to digital filter. So in the impulse invariant method, what we do is, we have a analog filter transfer function. That analog filter transfer function is sampled at a sampling interval of t, and once if we sample that, we will get a digital filter transfer function. That digital filter transfer function we can represent like h of z is equal to sigma n is equal to 0 to infinity h of n z power minus n. And if you sample that at z is equal to e power st, which means if you substitute z is equal to e power st, then you will get the digital filter transfer function. That relation is, so r into e power j omega, that is r into e power sigma t, and e power 0, that is equal to 1. So therefore, like this we can have a impulse invariance method of designing a digital filter from analog filter transfer function. Okay, in the next class we will see the last method, that is the bilinear transformation method, and also we will see how to convert analog filter transfer function to digital filter transfer function in that bilinear transformation also. Thank you.